Beloved, I've watched you move through days that looked bright but felt heavy. You dressed in light for the world, but your soul wore shadows. You held yourself with grace, even as your spirit slowly unraveled. No one saw you bleed, yet strength drained from you, drop by unseen drop. You became a master of appearing okay, of speaking calm while carrying storms, of showing up when nothing in you wanted to stand. But hear me now. You were never designed to hold everything on your own. The applause they gave was for your endurance, but I wept with joy at your surrender, even in silence. I sat close. When your thoughts were too tired to pray, your spirit whispered, and I listened. When your feet moved forward without purpose, when your smile covered exhaustion, I walked each step beside you. I saw you rise when there was no fuel left in your soul. I felt the sighs you didn't share. I honored the faith it took just to breathe. They praised your strength, but I saw the price you paid for it. You have learned to confuse doing with healing, motion with meaning, showing up with wholeness. A child, survival isn't the same as life. You functioned well in chaos, but I didn't call you to perform. I called you to belong. You became so good at managing pain that you forgot how to feel peace. But I remember who you were before the world taught you to cope instead of rest. And now, I'm calling you back, not to the past, but to the fullness of who you are beneath the armor. I never asked for perfection, I only asked for presence. You have nothing to prove. You don't need to earn breath. You don't need to apologize for being weary. I saw the days you didn't tell anyone about. I heard the cries you silenced even in prayer. You wondered if I noticed. I did. Every quiet act of courage, every unseen yes to life, every battle no one knew you were fighting. I counted them, all as holy, and now, let me remind you, you are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far to be restored. You are deeply loved, even in the moments you felt invisible. So rest, not because you're weak, but because you are worthy of restoration. You are more than what you carry. You are more than what you've overcome. You are more than the world's version of strong. You are mine, and I'm not finished with you yet. You've believed for too long that being spiritual meant being spent, that maturity looked like sacrifice without pause, that the holier you became, the more invisible your needs should be. But child, those rules were never mine. There is a kind of soul weariness I see in you, not from rebellion, but from trying so hard to be good, so hard to be what you thought I wanted, but I never asked you to perform. I only asked you to be with me. You mistook noise for intimacy, effort for communion, burnout for devotion. But I was never the one demanding perfection. I was always whispering rest. You tried to earn what I gave freely. You thought my presence required productivity. But what I long for is not your busyness. It's your honesty, not your checklist, but your heart. Even when you prayed, you rushed. Even when you served, you forgot to breathe. You moved like someone whose value depended on being needed. But I do not measure you by how much you do for me. I measure you by how close you let me come. You thought being available to everyone else would make you righteous. But in the process, you stopped being available to yourself and to me. I am not calling you to collapse. I'm calling you to sit, to let go of the version of faith that wore you down. Holiness was never meant to look like exhaustion. Even in creation, I designed rhythm, 6 days of forming, 1 day of rest. Even my son, divine and human, pulled away for silence. He slept in storms. He withdrew from crowds. So why do you wear busyness like a badge? Who told you burnout meant loyalty? Who taught you that saying yes to everything meant saying yes to me? I long for your presence, not your performance. I don't need your schedule. I want your attention. I don't need your service. I want your soul. You were made for relationship, not relentless output. And now I'm calling you back, not to more doing, but to being still, being loved, being whole, being held. Stop running toward exhaustion. Come walk with me at a pace that restores you. You do not need to prove your faithfulness with fatigue. You do not need to earn my nearness with sacrifice. My heart beats not for what you do, but for who you are, and who you are is mine. You were never asked to sprint through life. You were invited to walk, slow, steady, sacred. But you've lived as if grace had a deadline. You've moved as though peace was reserved for others. You've learned to keep moving just to survive. Let me remind you, stillness is not laziness. Rest is not failure. Slowness is not weakness. There is power in pause. There is beauty in breath. Even the earth follows rhythm. Tide retreats, the moon wanes, the trees shed to begin again. Why have you believed that you must always produce? Why do you think worth comes from what you finish? I never asked you to be fast. I asked you to be faithful. I am not impressed by pace. I am moved by presence. Stop apologizing for needing time. Stop hiding your desire to breathe. Stop fearing that rest will make you irrelevant. You are not called to exhaustion. You are called to overflow. That's why I keep calling you into quiet. Not to delay you, but to heal you. Not to punish, but to prepare. Let your soul stretch again. Let the silence teach you. Let your joy return, not as a burst, but as a constant hum. There's no prize for running past peace. Let yourself come back to rhythm, the divine. Kind, the one that honors your limits and honors my design. The rhythm that says, you are enough because I am with you. There are moments when you feel like you've lost your way, when your soul forgets how to sing, when your faith feels more like memory than fire, and in those moments, you wonder, am I still seen? Yes. You are still mine, still known, still wrapped in the embrace of one who never forgets. Even when you feel disconnected, I am holding the thread. Even when you drift, I remain anchored. Even when your prayers run dry, I am still speaking. You think you've failed me, but I've never left. My love is not based on your consistency. It is based on my character. I am faithful when you are faltering. I am present when you are distracted. I am mercy when you are mess. I am always. I am. You've held too tightly to shame. You've measured your worth by your latest mistake. But grace is not fragile like that. It doesn't vanish when you break. It shows up. Let it cover you like light breaking through stained glass. Let it color your pain with promise. You may have forgotten the last time you truly felt joy. You may not recognize your reflection in this season, but I do. I see past the where, past the questions, past the guilt. I see the child I crafted in love, the soul still wired for wonder. You've convinced yourself that failure is fatal, but I see a fighter, one who rises again and again, one who reaches for me, even with trembling fingers. And I come running, not to lecture, not to list what went wrong, but to hold you, to whisper truth, to remind you who you are. You are not behind. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. You are becoming softer, becoming stronger, becoming holy in the hidden places. Let grace meet you there. Let love rebuild what weariness tried to dismantle. You may forget, but I always remember, and I always restore. Not every victory came with noise. Some came in silence. Some came when no one clapped, when no one noticed, but I noticed. The battles you fought in secret, I was there. When you held your tongue, chose kindness, forgave in silence, those moments shook heaven. I saw the tears you didn't explain. I saw you show up when it would have been easier to disappear. I saw you choose peace when anger begged to be released, and I say this clearly. Every quiet moment mattered. You didn't need a platform to be powerful. You didn't need a crowd to change eternity. Your obedience in the small was a symphony in my ears. You kept walking even when the ground felt uncertain. You kept loving even when your own heart was bruised. You kept believing, sometimes barely, but still believing. And now I tell you, not one of those steps was wasted. You wonder if your small choices mattered. They did, more than you know. Because I do not measure success the way the world does. I look at faithfulness, at the quiet yes, at the steady heart that stays. You have built something eternal in the unseen, and I am turning every small seed into something glorious. Don't despise your pace. Don't envy their speed. You're not late. You're right on time. Let patience settle into your bones. Let peace remind you, you are exactly where I've placed you. I haven't forgotten the roads you've walked. I haven't missed the steps you took when no one watched. Even the quiet was sacred. Even the stillness was worship. And soon, very soon, what's been hidden will bloom.